Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. We're back with another members-only video. And look, it's been a couple of weeks since we've done one. Obviously, I've been away and there's been a couple of disappointing results since then. Some people are blaming me, other people aren't. So we're going to get into that as well. The lack of halftime potatoes, let's put it that way. But we've got the usual crew in. Ben, Chris, and Oisín are there as normal. How we doing, guys?
Oh, God.
All good. Happy days. And of course, anybody watching, get your thoughts and comments into the chat as well. We'd like to know your thoughts as well. Marley is there already. Good to see you. So what happened, Chris? Before we went live there, you were talking about the last couple of games and how disappointing they were, and you're not too happy with maybe Ten Hag either. Fill me in. What
I mean, the West Ham game, I just think I don't understand the starting 11. I really don't. I don't see why all of a sudden you bring Weghorst in as a number 10 and play that way, or however. I mean, it just doesn't make sense as a false 9, 10. I mean, it didn't make sense. I was laughing like when I saw that. I'm like going, oh, like, you don't even have to worry about that guy. Just let him do whatever he does, And then against Brighton, I mean, we played okay except for the fact that, I mean, we couldn't finish, and Luke Shaw decides to somehow just to try to play the hand of God, Maradona style. Like, I don't understand why his arm was even up. I mean, what's a guy? I mean, to be honest, a guy that's going to head the ball at the top of the box, what's he really going to do with it? Like, I'd rather let him have a free header, and if we don't save it, then we have other problems. But that's just the way I look at it at that point. I mean, Brighton played really well, but so did we, and if you want to go chance for chance, I think we should have won that game. But with just stupidity, he pulled a Maguire. I think I like I said in the Discord, it's WWMD. What would Maguire do? Throw his hands up and try to hand the ball? Like,
yeah.
So,
I see you're getting itchy in your seat there, Oisín. We'll go to you next. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's your thoughts on it?
I just it's Chris said there that if we can't save it from the edge of the box, sure, that's what happened Sunday. We couldn't save from the edge of the box. I said it in the chat last night, and I said it a few before you went off on your son and yourself.
Which it doesn't look like, by the way. I need to get a new camera. I need to get all the shade off me.
We were all here praising De Gea and saying how good his stats were and all, and I said we have to wait and see what his stats are going to be like without Varane and Martinez in front of him, and that's come back now to bite us on the backside big stuff. I mean the West Ham game, individual error. Brighton game, individual error. I agree to a degree with Chris about Ten Hag's selection, but what are his options? We didn't. We kind of. I was sitting with us earlier. We had a chance in January, or we could have got in January and got a number 9 that the manager wanted, but the Glazers keeps coming back to them. We're trying to save money. We don't have money, so we had to go out and sign who was there, and it was Weghorst. And we don't have was he the best of a bad bunch? Maybe. Does he suit what Ten Hag wants to do? I don't think so. I think Ten Hag just needed someone, so he just took him for the 6 months. Never going to be a long-term deal. Should never have been a short-term deal. But I think that mistake in January now, that lack of investment and that lack of foresight is coming back to bite us now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Last poet says it here. Vout is in because Martial has scored 9 league goals in 3 years. The most overrated footballer in the world. At least Vout will run and look interested. Ben, I'll come to you on that. Like, does Wout Weghorst, does his work rate get him in the team ahead of Martial? Even though, look, we know how frustrating it is when we've seen down through the last couple of weeks and months that, if we're looking for a goal, then all of a sudden we're seeing Weghorst coming on. But does he get in for his work rate more than anything? I think we're kind of seeing him when he does play more in the 10 with runners off him.
To me, over Martial, it does, but we have to play him at his strengths. If he's there, you play him up top, you get Rashford round him, Anthony round him, knocking balls down. Where he's out of position into where he's playing.
Yeah.
Why not Sabitzer could have played there?
Well, I mean, to go along with Ben said, I mean, the way he played in playing in the midfield and trying to come back in the midfield is just that's what I was laughing at. I mean, if you want to, because the other part of the West Ham game is we didn't press, like not like we usually do, not at all. And that's what usually Veghorst is the one running around up top, pressing everywhere, and everybody follows suit. But he was back in the midfield. Like if you're going to do that, then put Rashford up top, put Bruno on the wing, and play Sabitzer through the midfield with Eriksson and Casemiro. Like because even with Sabitzer, you look what he did against Sevilla. He scores 2 nice goals playing up. Up as a 10, playing up towards the forward line. But I mean, it's like against West Ham, and West Ham's not good. Like, let's just be honest. Like, I like, are we scared of Declan Rice? I think we're the only team, but whatever. I mean, that's what bothered me is the way where he played him. Like, if you want to play him up top instead of Martial, and he plays up top as a 9 and he presses, but the other part of the game was we didn't press at all. Like, it was non-existent.
Yeah. And Luke makes a good point here as well. He says, let's be honest, is Manchester United actually ready for Champions League football next season? Now, look, obviously we do have a transfer window coming up, and hopefully the ownership will be sorted. We'll talk about that in a moment. But and even looking at last night, watching the Milan game and seeing Mkhitaryan scoring and seeing Darmian playing at right back, and these boys are playing in the Champions League semi-final. Do we need an awful lot in this team between now and the start of next season to be looking at, not making a show of ourselves in the Champions League, for example? I'll go to you on that one, Oisín.
If you asked me the same question 6 weeks ago, I'd have said no, because we looked cohesive, we looked solid, and we've been saying it all year: 1 injury, 2 injuries, and our season's down to Swanee. And look what's happened with Martinez and Varane. What we need depth. We need a lot of depth, almost all over the park. We keep saying it. Number 9 has to be. If we're going into the Champions League next year with a realistic hope of getting to the knockout stages, then the priorities are number 9 and 2 backup centre halves. Everything else then we can fit around, but we need depth. We need options. We need people challenging each other to be in there, and we can't have another season like we're having now towards the end, where we're looking over our shoulders again and wondering who's going to behind us, because injuries have cost us with the lack of investment and the lack of options.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of that. With a lot of what you said there, but me being the optimist, I'm still thinking, like, if we bloody had a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen in our team this year, we would be challenging. We would
I agree.
You know what I mean? So I don't think, and I completely agree with what you're saying, because I think for Ten Hag to do what he's done out of what he has been, I won't say not short of a miracle, but it's been really, really good, And we go back to what we were saying previously, that we've said it on a number of different occasions, that top 4 and a trophy was, every Manchester United fan would have snapped their hand off. But I just think the way the season is starting to peter out a little bit, I think, is the most disappointing thing. You look at, say, we probably peaked around maybe February time. Rashford was in flying form. Everybody was fit. I think Casemiro wasn't getting suspended, all of these kind of things. But I'll go to you first on this one, Ben. Are we getting top 4?
If they get that passion back in the belly and a bit of fire, yeah. I think that's what it's missing. Yeah, but do you know what I mean, though? It's the last 2 games, you look, there's not enough effort there, is there?
Yeah,
nope.
I agree. Yeah.
It's just effort. If you lose, you lose, but you lose properly, don't you? You lose fighting, don't you?
Yeah, you go down fighting. Right, so will we make top 4 then?
I believe we will, yeah.
All right, okay. Chris?
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, with the fixtures that we have, I think, what is it, 7 points? I think we can pull 7 points. I mean, Wolves are Jekyll and Hyde. We should be able to beat Bournemouth, and Chelsea's a shambles right now. But, going back to what you said, and what you were saying earlier about, like, where we're at and everything like that. I think, does a number 9 solve our problems? Yeah, I think it solves a lot of our problems because, I mean, you look at what Arsenal has done. They've lost Saliba, they've lost guys and people, but if you score goals, you're not winning 1-0 or 0-0 or 1-1.
Yeah.
You're winning 3-1. I mean, when you're scoring goals, it hides a lot of other things. Like, you can play with your backup to your backup at that point, in different positions. Because the problem we have is of course, like we all know this, we're lucky if we score 2 goals in a game.
Yeah, and I just think it would take a lot of the pressure off. Like, we've seen an awful lot of games with United this season, create. And I think with West Ham, from what I've seen of the West Ham game, for the first maybe 20 minutes, we were quite positive and we were creating some chances. But for a lot of the games this season, we get that early goal in 20 minutes, everybody settles down and you can kick on then. And
but the problem is we settle too much. We settle down so much that we don't score any more goals. We think, hey, we got one, we're going to park the bus and we're going to be done at that point. I just think if we have a proper number 9, whoever that would be, Kane, Osimhen, I don't know about Gonzalo Ramos for 120 million from what they're but yeah. I'm like, if you have a proper guy that's going to score goals, we're not going to be in the 1-0 games. We're going to be 3-1, 4-2. I think, because I mean, we have the players to do that. I mean, do I agree with Oshin that we need more? Yeah, we need more. We need more center backs. We need at least a center back, another center midfielder, because we forget Sabitzer's leaving. Whether he stays or not is up in the air. So we need another center midfielder. We need a number 9, and I just think that if we had that number 9 that's going to score goals, I tell you right now, even if we had Zlatan right now as in an advanced age, he's going to score goals.
Doing lads.
Exactly. Zava.
Yeah. Right, I'll go to you, Oshin. Top 4.
I was looking at the fixtures that we have left and the other shower from Merseyside have left.
Don't mention them.
No.
That's why I didn't use the name. I'd be happier with their running than our running. I mean, Bournemouth put a result together a couple of weeks ago. Chelsea are up and down. You wouldn't know the way we're playing. They might fancy their chances against us. I can see Liverpool. I can see that other shower from Merseyside getting 9 points.
Villa is the tricky one for him.
It is, yeah.
But it is in Anfield as well, I suppose.
But for us to guarantee, we're going to need to win 3 and draw 1. And as you said yourself, we've got 5 cup finals coming up down the line.
Yeah.
And as Chris says, if we don't have that passion in our belly and that get up and go, I'm not as confident as I was, but I am confident we will get top 4. And I do think we'll have your Champions League football next year.
Yeah. My one worry is, okay, so we let's take the Spurs game, because that's the game that we were looking at that we were 2-0 up on, and if we had won that game, top 4 was done. It was basically done if we had won that game. To drop a 2-goal lead from half time and end up drawing 2-2, subsequently losing the next 2 games, that's a major swing.
Yep.
From being that close to getting top 4 to all of a sudden now you're back in the fight for it, to then swing it back in the opposite direction is my big worry. You know what I mean? I think it's a huge momentum swing. But obviously, I think it's the fact that we've got 3 of the 4 games at home makes a huge difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think another good thing is,
I'm going to go as far as say, if we do not beat Wolves on Saturday, it's over. We're not getting top 4, I don't think.
I think another good thing is it's ours to lose.
Yeah.
We're not chasing it. It's ours to lose, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lost Poet says it's his first season, Ten Hag, aka the Hitman, has done an amazing job regardless. The first trophy in 6 years. Yeah, absolutely. And Niall says we lost a lot of points this season from playing well, scoring and not killing games off. Yeah, that's a good point as well.
It's true.
Getting I think you mentioned it, Chris, like getting the first goal and not killing games off is
I mean,
But look,
I pointed out the other thing though is that like, and I understand Ten Hag has got the worst job in the world, and I don't want to say the worst job in the world, but he's doing the best with what he's got. But at the same time, like the frustrating thing with me right now is that like even with the players he's having is like we talked about this at the beginning of the season, I think, is that even with Pep or anybody else, they try to make the least amount of changes to their team with substitutions or players that they put in. We see Ten Hag seems to say Bruno out to the left, so and so to the right, so and so like Weghorst at the 10, someone else here. So, like we make so many moves that I think we've lost our continuity. That where we had a solid. Okay, well Eriksen's back. We have Bruno. We have Casemiro. And we have Rashford up top. I don't care what wingers you play, but keep the core the same. Right now, we're changing so many things, and guys are going left, right, and the other way. They don't know what's going. I don't want to say they don't know what's going on, but our continuity is not there.
I think that has settled down since the likes of Eriksen has come back. We've seen,
not against West Ham.
Well, not against West Ham, no, but like if you go back, and I always think back to the 99 season, and everybody names their greatest ever team. You can name the starting 11, York Cole, Keane, Scholes, Beckham, Giggs, Irwin, Neville, Stam, Janssen, Schmeichel, and that 11 played 3 times together in the whole season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But again, look, I know I understand what you're saying. I think the tactics of Ten Hag haven't changed, but I understand that what you're saying, Chris, that he's using and he's playing maybe players out of position. But I think Weghorst is probably the only real one we've seen. Like, I don't think anybody expected Weghorst to ever play as a number 10,
No, but where does Bruno play?
Bruno's played on the right a few times, yeah. But
okay, but is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he?
Well, I think Bruno naturally drifts to the right, even when he's playing central. And Bruno's the kind of player that I think he'll be left back 1 minute, he'll be high right the next minute, he'll be central midfield another minute. But I think it does come down to what you're saying about depth in the squad as well. Let's see. Niall is also saying, was watching a Goldbridge Live this morning. Reports Radcliffe is a done deal. If it happens, we're finished. Right, let's get into it. So
not a done deal.
We've got here, obviously, Sir Jim Radcliffe is reportedly Manchester United buyers preferred by the Glazers. Now, this was kind of yesterday's news, if we're going to say anything. It kind of it broke yesterday, and Ben Jacobs has reported around lunchtime today that he's dispelled that report that the takeover update has a preferred bidder. So basically, I mean, when you look at the first one, it comes from the Sun. So anybody with level mind or level head will take it with that little pinch of salt that I keep talking about. But talk to me about. I'll go to you first on this, Ben. Talk to me about the takeover, Radcliffe, Qatar, one versus the other. If let's take Jim Radcliffe, for example, if he does get it, would you be disappointed? Would you be pissed off? Would you be happy? What's your thoughts on it?
I'd be disappointed if Radcliffe got it now with all the stories that's come out, because you know that the Glazers are going to be there with a clause in the club still, don't you? And nobody wants that, do they? Which Man U fan wants them there?
Yeah.
So,
even with Radcliffe at the reins.
Yeah, you've still got them in the background now. Nobody wants that, do they? They're still there.
Yeah.
It's like a leech.
Yeah, it is. And it's a difficult one for me because I mean anything is better than Qatar. Or sorry, not anything is better than Qatar. Anything is better than the Glazers. But I'll go to you on this one, Oisín. Like, I mean, if Sir Jim Radcliffe comes in and he takes over the club, regardless of whether the Glazers are there or not, let's park that for a minute. Can he really compete with the likes of City and Newcastle? You know what I mean? I just don't think he can he?
I mean, he's loading more debt onto the club again, isn't he?
Yeah.
I heard this to this evening. I was in work all day and I heard it this evening, and my heart sank because I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks that this is exactly what the Glazers want. They just want someone in there to take the brunt of the fans, and they'll still get their dividends. They'll have their Class B shares that will still be worth 10 votes and all this carry on. The Glazers were never going to sell, which is why they priced at $6 billion. No one's going to buy that. They just want to be out of the limelight, but keep their money coming out themselves. United are too easy a cash cow. Put a Glazers to sell off, lock, stock, and barrel. And I hope I'm wrong, but at this stage, I don't know, am I? But I mean, we need the Glazers out of the club. Otherwise, we're staying. We're going to become the new Arsenal, going for the top 4 place. Not pushing off from that, so you won't be able to afford to push off from that. And my heart sank today when I read that.
Chris?
Silence says it all.
I mean, it's let's be honest, and it's the lesser of two evils if Sir Jim is the owner, which from the things that I've read and the things that I've inquired on, and even my boss's husband is big time in the New York Stock Exchange and everything like that. He says it hasn't been done because the exchange would be different today if United was sold. So nothing's come out yet, but I think that headline that you have, I think it's a ploy because Qatari's at $5.8 billion for the sale. I think it's a ploy for them for the Glazers to try to get them to the Qataris to their $6 billion. To the 6. I mean, let's be honest. If you're paying $5.8 billion for Manchester United, you can't go to 6. I know you don't want to, but let's just be honest. It's I paid $8 for that. It's 10. I mean, it's just another comma. But it's just it's with if the Glazers are still around with Ratcliffe, I agree with what O'Sheen said and Ben said that they're a leech and they're just it's just more debt. We won't be able to compete. I mean, will we be able to compete because of Ten Hag and how he coaches and how he manages? Yes, but I mean, our transfer windows are going to be bleak. I mean, it's going to be 1 or 2 and done, and
Chris.
Yep.
Can you see Ten Hag hanging around if United haven't got a future? If United aren't going to compete, can you see Ten Hag staying there? I can't.
Well, I think Ten Hag will. I think he'll stick around I think he'll stick around for at least a year to 2 years to see how it goes, but then he'll leave. I mean, because like you said, O'Sheen, it's if he doesn't think he can compete, but the other question is, can he compete buying the likes of your Malassias or your Sabitzers and everything like he did at Ajax, where you're playing more team game than you are playing superstar game, where you're playing game manager, FIFA game manager, where you're, you got that influx of money. I honestly think that the Qataris are why would the Qataris come out and say, hey, we're going to try to get some of the old guard, your Nevilles, your this, that, and the other into United in whatever they call key positions. I don't know what that means, but if Gary Neville's a key position, I think we're sunk anyways. But
that was my point. That was my point last night. I was saying, why not use that before you put in a bid as part of your bid? To get fans on side. Why come out with that now?
I don't think they thought it was going to be the way it was with United. Because you didn't get the backlash from Newcastle with all of a sudden the moral high ground. I mean, I didn't hear it when Newcastle got bought. I didn't hear anything about moral high ground and everything. But when United, it's like the one journalist I heard, I didn't read it completely, but in the UK talking about how City has done so well and they do it the right way and they did everything. And if the Qataris get United, it's going to be wrong. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same. It's the same ownership. It's state owned. Whatever you're saying that City did it the right way and blah blah blah. And now it's just someone that doesn't like United at that point. Because it's United gets the most hatred out of any club in England in the Prem. I think. I don't. You guys can tell me more. I mean, in the United States, it's. If you pulled everybody in the States and said, what team do you not like? Most people would say you don't like United just because they're like the New York Yankees of English football.
Yeah.
Where they make, it's not our fault we make more money than anybody else. It really isn't our fault. Same thing with the Yankees here in the United States. They make more money than anybody else, so they can spend more money than anybody else.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here for a minute then, okay? Because obviously we know United have spent basically as much as anybody else in the Premier League over the last 10 years, okay? And it hasn't been our owners' money. It's been United-generated money. What's to say we can't continue to do that with Jim Radcliffe as owner, with self-generated money, and maybe he invests in the stadium and the training ground and whatever else may be, and let Man United generated money look after, say, transfers and things like that? Or am I missing something?
I think part of it is from what I understand.
I think maybe regardless of the money, I think we've been mismanaged over the last 10 years. The Ed Woodwards and the wrong decision making with the wrong people in the wrong areas. Okay, if Jim Radcliffe comes in, okay, we don't want the Glazers to stay. But if he has some kind of business mind that he puts the right people in the right areas, and United continue to generate money like we've been doing and spending over the last 10 years, who's to say we can't continue on an upward trend, hopefully?
Who wants to go first?
Go on, Chris, where you go.
I just think that we've been mismanaged so bad that we can't compete at that point because the way we're going, because of wage bills, contracts, everything that's been done in the previous 7 years. Like, we've made such bad decisions and bought and given wages so high that it's I don't want to say it's crippling, but it's going to be a major deterrent in what we do. Where if the Qataris come in, I mean, let's just be honest, it's debt free at this point. They just wiped out everything at that point, and they're going to buy and sell because what's the term that I heard with Radcliffe and the Glazers? When you have investment people, because you have to pay off your investors. So investment people look to run the club as a spreadsheet, where the Qataris would look to run the club to win.
Mm.
I mean, that's the best way that
that's
the best analogy that I heard.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing, though, Jack, is like, okay, so the Glazers owned it. So you only had to pay dividends to one family that owned it. Or now you got the NES group and whoever their investors are and everything like that. Now, how many more people are taking money out of the kitty? For as much money as we, because the Glazer, if they're still going to be part of it, they're going to be like, hey, you give us, money,
Yeah.
So now how many more hands are in the pot?
And the Glazers are going to be worse now because they're shareholders. They're not owners. They're just going to want their money.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be making demands a lot more regularly. As owners, they can say, we took nothing out this month and be great owners. When they're shareholders, I don't give a flying fiddlers. You give me my money.
Yeah.
Simple as,
Yeah.
I think it's the squad as well. We need to overhaul the squad. I think that's the biggest problem. We haven't got the squad, have we? We need the squad there to be able to do that with the owners.
Yeah.
Do if we had all the players, how many players do we need to get rid of? It's not going to happen in one transfer window, is it?
I hope so.
Well, I tell you one thing, Ralph Rangnick wasn't far off the mark, so he wasn't when he said we needed 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I think we get rid of 6 this transfer window.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Ben, as well, because I think it's a trickle-down effect, both positively and negatively. If you're doing well on the pitch, it's bringing in revenue, it's bringing in sponsorship deals, it's bringing in, players that want to now play for the club. You're in top 4, you're challenging for trophies, and I think that's the I suppose the business plan that's been lost over the last 10 years, where let's buy to win rather than let's maybe come at it from another angle. Let's maybe win first, and then it might be easier to buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways,
with the Qataris, with the Qataris, sponsorships are going to be there. Yeah, I mean, whether it's them or their sponsorship. I mean, even with a state run, they're going to have sponsorships waiting in the wings.
Oh yeah, and they're going to have fake sponsorships fucking waiting as well.
I don't doubt that too. But it's and that's the thing. It's like I I mean, I think honestly, if the Qataris took over, I think you see an overhaul of the team this transfer window. I think you see at least 10 people go. And I think he'll have the money to buy. He'll pull a Todd Bowley, but the difference is he'll sell people off while he buys them.
Well, hope so. Well, I'd say even without that, I mean, if we're looking at, let's say Maguire, McTominay, and Martial go, you're talking Elanga is probably going to go. Brandon Williams is going to go. Twanzebe, fucking Eric Bailly, Alex Tellez. You know, there's 8 straight away. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, of the major ones, I think you have McTominay, Maguire, Elanga. I honestly think Jadon Sancho goes. I think if the owner comes in and says, "Who do you want to get rid of?" and Ten Hag will be like, "That guy," him. And I think of the starting 11, Maguire, McTominay, Elanga.
De Gea?
Not starting 11, but what's that?
De Gea?
No, I think he stays, but I think you bring in with the budget. I think you bring in a top-notch goalkeeper. I think Diego Costa.
Segue.
Oh, there it is. I fell into that one.
I seen this report today. Numerous outlets coming in that this guy wants to leave Aston Villa, and United are one of the clubs that are interested in him.
Love to hate that guy.
Yeah, but he's one of them players that you would you'd fucking hate. But if he was playing for you, you'd love him. You know what I mean?
He's got the ego to play for Man U, hasn't he?
He does.
He's got that character, hasn't he? So
yeah, I don't think he would be shy about being the number one goalkeeper at Manchester United, because we've seen some quite good goalkeepers down through the years turn into shrinking violets when they're standing with 30,000 people in the Stretford end right behind him, and you cannot make a fucking mistake. You know what I mean? But again, there's been a couple of different players. Look, this guy as well, David Raya, obviously from Brentford. Brentford's asking price, where did I see it? I saw it there, is 40 million. If you had your choice, now I'll go to you on this one, Oisín. Now, you obviously have your choice, given the fact that David De Gea looks like he's going to stay. Which one do you go for?
Out of those 3?
Yeah.
As my
or any other subsequent goalkeeper maybe that you might have in your own mind.
I like Costa. I think he's not a bad keeper. I don't think
Benfica.
Benfica, yeah.
I don't think De Gea is our guaranteed number 1 anymore like he used to be. Or I don't think he should be. Obviously, he is at the moment because we've got Jack Butland and Tom Heaton, neither of whom have been tried this season, really. So they're not going to get a shout in the last couple of games. I mean, Martinez is an interesting one. Never in a million years would have put him on the United radar. Like you said, love to hate him. He's one of these guys, again, as you said, that if he wasn't playing for United, you'd be shouting every kind of abuse at him. But at United, you just know that he's going to be one of those shit houses. You know what I mean? He's going to but it depends what.
I think you need them in your team. I think Bruno has a bit of that about him.
Absolutely.
Majority of people hate him.
That's what United are missing. United are missing that bit of nasty.
Yeah,
United are a very nice team.
The butcher,
the
butcher.
Yeah, but I mean, 2 players. You need at least 1 or 2 more. If you think back to, I mean, I always go back to the 99 team. You had Stam, Keane, Scholes, Janssen. Erwin could mix it up, even though he was missing the dependable. Yeah, Schmeichel's overrated. He was more that than anything else.
Big shout. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
If you're a top class keeper like Schmeichel, how many times do you get chipped?
Fucking man, Oisín, me and you are on the same wavelength here. He got chipped in the Champions League final, and only for fucking Casper the friendly post, we would have been 2-0 down.
We got to know where your posts are. That's all.
Very, very, very overrated keeper. Very, very average keeper. I'd go so far as to say his son is a better keeper than him.
Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout.
Well, his son played in a different era than he did, so it's different.
It's the same game. It's a round ball, 2 goals either end, 22 players. It's the
You
same
keep
game.
Osteen, you keep saying that, but it doesn't work that way. You keep saying, "I want my 2 center halves to play."
I want my 2 center. I want the
every game, all game. Like I don't know any 2 center halves that have played every game, all game.
To quote Mike Bassett, I want 4-4 fucking 2. That's what I want. Black boots, end the story. You know? Yeah. So that's my thoughts on the keeper.
Right. I'll go to you, Ben. Obviously, look, David De Gea is going to be at United next season. New contract basically around the corner for being signed, but he needs competition. Now, if we look at, obviously, Martinez, like we were mentioning there, he's 30 years of age. I don't know what David Raya is. I would presume he is drastically younger. If it says it here, I don't think it does. But would you go with a younger goalkeeper like that to challenge De Gea? Or look, if you bring in a Martinez, for example, along with De Gea, you're looking at 2 30-plus goalkeepers battling out. Now, I know 30 is not old for a goalkeeper, but what would your thoughts on it be?
I'd bring Martinez in. I'd bring him in. We've got some good young keepers out on loan, haven't we? So we've got a future in the keepers that we've got on loan.
David
I
Raya.
think if you bring him in with his attitude that he's got and his ego, I think he could put David Gea in his place if he needed to.
I was just going to say it. I
think fire off each other.
Yeah, I think if he comes in with his World Cup medal hanging off his cock and fucking just going, I'm the man, I think David De Gea just shrinks. I really do.
I don't think we ever see the likes of David De Gea again if you bring Martinez in.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Martinez is, like you said, that kind of guy that he's just going to walk in swinging between his legs and say, here, you can hold this for me. It's just like, he's just that guy. And like I said, love to hate him. Like, it's just love him. But you just look at him and then you're just like, and some of the saves he makes, you're just like, it's because you're friggin' 6 foot whatever and you're just massive. Like, it's just, But no, I would either that or the other guy that no one's mentioned is the guy that Ten Hag had at Ajax, and I know we keep going back to the Eredivisie, Onana, the guy that's playing for Inter right now. Yeah. He's your classic sweeper keeper, and Ten Hag could bring him in and just be like, just watch what he does, and that's what you need to do, and you can't. And but I like Emi Martinez. I if he came in, I would be happy.
Well, I think that's probably the one thing that would probably, I don't see Martinez as really being a ball-playing goalkeeper either.
He does better than he does. Watching Villa, he does better than De Gea does. He's not afraid to have the ball, but he's not great with it. Let's just say that. Like, I've seen him be like, oh, like, don't do that. Like, but he's not afraid to have the ball at his feet. He's just not fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's finish on this one. Paul Merson had something funny to say. He said why Man City's treble would be better than Man United's. Let me just see why the reason is. Fuck it. Let's just go through it, right? What an idiot. So now, and it's funny now. Let's start with the goalkeeper because we know who Oshin's going to choose. So. Let's do it this way, right? Let's do it this way. Let's take Manchester United's that actual 11 that I mentioned a few minutes ago, and we all know that the best Manchester United 11 in '99. Regardless, you're going to Lidl, right? Okay, no better. United Community Channel, right? That '99 team. Who out of the current City team would get into it? And I'll give you the honours, Oshin.
Haaland.
That's it.
Yeah. Merson's wrong. Good night. End the conversation.
Right. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been the United Community Channel.
We're out.
Would you put Ederson in ahead of Schmeichel?
No.
No.
That 99 team was as close to a perfect cohesive 11 that I've ever seen in all my years supporting United.
Yeah.
No, I'm 40 years of age this September coming. I know I don't look it, guys, but I'm 40 this year.
You don't buy.
So, so I mean,
I'm the oldest one here.
So I can remember some really poor United teams, but United '99 was probably the most perfect nucleus of a football team that you're ever going to get. They all played for each other and with each other. I'm not sure. Can you say that about the City team now? Maybe, but there's just something different to the United '99.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I was going to say, would you change your formation to get someone like Kevin De Bruyne in away from 4-4-2? But
see my earlier answer.
yeah. Chris, I'll go to you next. Would you do anything? Would you try and get De Bruyne into the team ahead of somebody?
I don't think ahead of somebody. No, I think that he could play a part in the team. I think he could play for the team. Let
me play devil's advocate here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting Haaland in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you take out York and Cole and switch to a 4-3-3. You could maybe get De Bruyne in beside Keane and Scholes in the middle with Beckham and Giggs wide of Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if you're changing formations, if you're taking York off, then yeah, and the forward, York and everybody off. But I mean, Haaland and De Bruyne would be the only two guys that I would say could match the level. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know we all know the history of the Holland family and the Keane family, so I don't even know. I don't even think you can put him on the squad. But,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, that squad was just so in tune
Balanced.
and like, but I don't even know if like Erling Haaland could handle without the drama of their families, Roy Keane yelling at him. Or somebody, like, nobody yells at that team. They went after each other, but they all knew at the same time. It's all this is what needs to happen. Like,
yeah,
like the only player I could think of besides Haaland, because he's just an animal, is Kevin De Bruyne. Because I mean, right now, like, I was talking to a friend of mine and watching the game. His finishing from the midfield is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
like we against. Who was it was it Brighton that Bruno had the little chip against the crossbar? Help me out. Was it Brighton or was it West Ham? No. Or was it no, it was against Spurs where he came through and he tried to chip it and hit the crossbar.
Oh yes.
Kevin De Bruyne finishes that. I'm sorry. I'm like, that's the one issue I have with Bruno is his finishing is not here. It's more here, But, I mean, I think De Bruyne is the only one that would – I mean, Haaland's an animal, but De Bruyne's the only one that would that could stay in – like, I don't think you lose if you take someone off and you put him in.
Right, okay. I'll go to you then, Ben, and this will be my last kind of versus. Would you take Gary Neville out for Kyle Walker?
Oh!
Forgot about that one, didn't you?
Kyle Walker's a buffoon.
I don't think so. To be fair.
I think it would.
I think Kyle Walker's a good player, to be fair.
Yeah,
What?
so do I.
Oh, my God.
To be fair, when he was at Tottenham, I'd like to come to Man U.
Yeah.
When
Walker's a buffoon.
So, but now Gary Neville's in there steady, isn't he? Steady player. Him and Beckham.
Yeah. You'd have to stick with Gene, wouldn't you? Right, so we're going with Haaland is the only one then. I
think they make our bench look good.
I love it. I fucking love it, Ben. Brilliant. What a way to end. Happy days. Guys,
what time's the game on Sunday?
What's that?
What time's the game on Sunday?
It's Saturday. Isn't it?
Saturday. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't think I have a babysitter, so I could be going live from the sitting room. But we'll be going live regardless anyway. So
you have to go live. I've got a communion that I got to get out of. You have to go live.
Yeah. Well, I might have a little screaming child running around me.
What is it? You guys have? Was it 3:00? Are we late?
3:00. Yeah, 3:00. I think this is only our third 3:00 kickoff on a Saturday this season. I think.
Yeah.
Obviously with the Europa League, but next because my missus works on Saturdays. So, and she's off on Sundays, which makes it easier for me with the Thursday, Sunday games. So next season.
That's kind of crazy because there's only Newcastle and Leeds play at our time 7:30, and then all the other games are at 3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so interesting. Anyway, look, we'll figure it out. I'll let you know as we go. But look, I appreciate you coming on as always, guys. And to anyone else who's watching, please hit like on the video, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you want to come on like the guys, you want to become an official member, link is in the description. Check out some of the options.
We have a question for you though, Jack. What did you actually shoot in Spain?
What did I shoot?
Yes.
So we were playing, so myself and one of my mates are quite good, and there's one guy that would be not as good, and then another guy just below. So we played doubles and we played champagne scramble. So take the best drive, and then everybody hits their shots after that. But was unbeaten all week. 3 rounds of golf, unbeaten by straight over long all day, straight over long all that. Not a big hitter at all, but get me inside 150 yards. Game over.
So what do you hit off the tee? 250, 260?
Probably around 260, 270.
No, that's not. I thought you're like old man 220 or 230.
No, come on, Chris. Fuck's sake, man. I know I'm small. I'm not. That's either like an 8-year-old or a fucking 7-year-old. But anyway, look, I really enjoyed it. Bit of sunshine, happy days, so it was good. But good to get back into the routine.
You guys make, I don't know if Ben and Oshin are big golfers, but I actually just secured tickets. I'm going to go to the Masters next season.
Fucking prick. Fucking.
I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, I'm sure you bloody will.
You should do a watch along from Augusta.
Yeah.
If I can, I will. But they're like in Augusta, they are very, very strict about what you can and cannot do. Like you're not even allowed to run. Like they're on the whole course. Like
seeing people walking really fast. Yeah.
You are not allowed to run. My friends have been there. My friend's dad has tickets. He goes every year, so he gave it to him and one of my good friends, his son. So he said that we could go. And but he goes, whatever you do not embarrass me. Do not lose my tickets, because if you do something very bad, they'll yank whoever owns them. Whoever owns them, they're just done.
So what you're saying is you're not bringing the Scott McTominay safety whistle with you?
No, I won't bring no. I will be on my best behavior. Like I will not,
Yeah.
But it'll like, I don't know if at night it's different. When you're on the course, it's pristine behavior, But like, Absolutely. But I should have, maybe by Saturday, I may have the cartoon of the Scott McTominay whistle.
Brilliant.
Speaking of cartoons, can we get a GIF of Jack doing the fast walk again?
Thanks everybody for watching the United Community Channel. Anyway, let's leave it at that. Before I embarrass myself anymore. Guys, I appreciate it. I was on to Ricey today, and we might be doing a podcast tomorrow night, but if not, we're definitely doing one on Monday as normal. We're getting back into the swing.
We need Ricey on one of our members chats.
Yeah, he's been up to his eyeballs because he's at the business end of his soccer season, football season as well. So he's just been caught, and he's building a house as well. So he's a bit all over the place. But if not tomorrow, I'll see you Saturday.
You got it.
Perfect. All right, lads.
Catch you later.
Right, cheers for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. See you later.